Ladies and gents, Mr. Harris, Mr. Joshua Harris on another video conversation where we discuss anything and everything money-wise, okay? So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about assets. I want to talk about assets. In the next video, we're going to talk about liabilities. But in this video, I want to discuss what is an asset, what are some examples of assets, why are assets important, right? So let's just start and go. Listen, we make it complicated. We don't have to make it complicated. The internet is our friend. Okay, so all I've done is simply typed in on Google, what is an asset? Let's see what Google had to say. And Google is basically AI. So AI stated, an asset is a resource with economic value that an individual, company, or country owns or controls with the expectation that it will provide a future benefit. In simpler terms, an asset is anything of value that an entity owns or has the right to use that can be converted into cash or provide other economic benefits. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Key characteristics of an asset. Economic value. An asset must have monetary value either currently or potentially in the future. Ownership or control. The entity must have the right to own, use, or control the asset. Future benefit. The asset is expected to provide a future benefit such as generating income, reducing expenses, or increasing the value of the business. Examples of assets. Personal assets can be cash, savings, investments, real estate, jewelry, vehicles. Business assets, cash, accountables, receivable, property, plant or equipment like machinery and buildings, intellectual property like patents, trademarks, and investments. Intangible assets, goodwill, trademarks, patents, copyrights, and licenses. Types of assets. You have tangible assets, physical, that can be seen, touched, like buildings, equipment, and land. Intangible, non-physical assets that have value, like patents, trademarks, and goodwill. Liquid assets, assets that can be quickly converted into cash, such as cash, savings, accounts, and stocks. Illiquid assets, assets that take longer to convert into cash, such as real estate and certain investments. Okay, these are basically examples of assets. Now, why am I bringing up assets? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This is something that we have all heard since the dawn of time. Okay, what it actually means is basically the rich buy assets. The rich are not buying liabilities. They say that the poor usually buy goods, expensive sneakers. The middle class usually buy worthless degrees, overpriced houses, vacations and cars. The rich buy assets. Okay. It's very important on this financial journey that we begin to understand what is an asset. Now, I have a book, which I'm not going to talk about on this channel. It's going to be on my Patreon. But the book talks about how the real goal is to work for assets. Now, I'm not going to go into this conversation. I'm not going to go into that particular piece of information because for this conversation, I want to keep it very, very simple. Eventually, we're going to get into how do we work for assets or even build our own assets to work for so that we're not working for a job. Okay, because the last thing you want to do is work for money. I know I'm going to blow somebody's brain when I say this, but you don't want to work for money. You want to work for assets. Right now, just for this video, we have to be thinking in terms of what is an asset? How do we accumulate assets? How do I own assets? Okay, you don't want to have a bunch of liabilities or worse, have liabilities and don't own anything. The goal and the thought process is always, how do I own assets? How do I get this cash? Where I got some cash? Hold on, so I gotta give an example to y'all real quick, just so you can see the physical. So the goal is, how do I take this cash, right? How do I take this fiat currency that's being devalued on a daily, weekly, yearly basis, and how do I convert this into cash? How do I convert it into assets? Things that go up in value, things that are truly valuable. Okay, that's what this video is about. That's what this channel is about. That's what we're going to continually talk about on a daily basis. How to get this money, how to manage money, how to value the money, how to make the money grow. Because again, money is probably the most important subject in the world that's discussed the least. Mr. Harris, I'll see you on the next one.